Chapter 15. We found the officer and a zip-cuffed Michelle Bowie outside Pho Fred's. Miss Bowie was, to put it mildly, unhappy. "I got my rights," she said. "I'm U.S. born and raised, never put a toe in Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, so I don't have to say a thing because I have not done a thing other than order lunch. This is harassment, pure and simple." Bowie was tall for a Vietnamese female, almost 5'6", and slender. Her hair was shaved on one side and long on the other. She sported tattoos of yellow butterflies on her left arm, and red ones swarmed on the right. 2 hoops in each nostril completed the look. Bowie began to shout in Vietnamese, and many people in the halls and other stores came to the doorways and looked at us. "We just want to have a chat," Bree said calmly. "You usually bring guns and zip cuffs to a chat?" Bowie asked. "When Towla is who we want to chat with, yes," I said. "When are you guys going to leave Tao alone?" she said. "You arrest him, he gets off. You arrest him, he gets off. When you gonna figure out that he can't be had?" She watched our faces and smiled knowingly. "You don't have him, do you? You didn't catch him." Bowie started laughing and then called out something in Vietnamese that got the other people there laughing. She looked at me. "You in charge?" I jerked my head toward Detective Rand. Bowie rolled her eyes, said, "Can you take the cuffs off? They're starting to hurt, and I smell a lawsuit coming on." Bree said, "If we take them off, you'll talk to us?" "Why would I do that?" Bowie asked. "I am under zero obligation to talk to you because I have done nothing wrong." "How about aiding and abetting a cop killer?" Sampson said. That seemed to come out of nowhere to Bowie, and her chin retreated fast. "Tao's no cop killer," she said. "We think he is," Bree said. "The cop was Tommy McGrath, a guy who had a Jones to put Tao away for the rest of his life." Bowie said nothing, her eyes darting back and forth. "You've heard the name before? McGrath?" I asked. The way she shook her head said she had heard of the late COD. Bree picked up on it too. She said, "When someone kills a cop, the net gets big and wide. That net is forming around your boyfriend. Question is, which of his fish will get caught in the net with him?" "What's that mean?" "It means your boyfriend is disloyal," I said. "He keeps 3 different women in 3 different apartments, rotates among them." Bowie's face hardened, but she said nothing. "How's that make you feel, sharing him with 2 others? Good for only 1 night in 3? Lo's girlfriend blinked, stared at the floor, and said, "If that." "Right. And suppose his other 2 girlfriends decide it's better to tell us what they know than get caught in Tao's net. Where's that going to leave you?" Tears began to well in her eyes. "Up a creek," she said. "Take off the cuffs, and I'll tell you what I can." Chapter 16. Bree built up a quick rapport with the 24-year-old, so we decided to let her and Mueller run the questioning when we returned to D.C. I went back to the office I shared with Sampson and found a GoPro camera and a sealed evidence bag along with a note from the medical examiner, Nancy Barton. "From the Maserati," she'd written. "You'll find it interesting." Barton had included a cable to hook up the camera to my computer. I attached it and turned the camera on. I had to fiddle until I got it in playback mode, and then Sampson and I watched the most recent MPEG file. We watched it again. We talked about what we'd seen, and then we watched it a 3rd time. "I think we need to tell Michaels sooner rather than later," Sampson said. "Agreed," I replied. 10 minutes later, we were in the office of D.C. Police Chief Brian Michaels. A welterweight fighting a paunchy belly, Michaels took a sip from his coffee cup and made a sour face. "Damn it, I'll never get used to this," he said, shuddering and setting the cup down on his desk. "Hot lemon water. Supposed to be good for me. Change my alkalinity." "Add honey," I said. "But first, call up that video we sent you," Sampson said. "I could use a latte." Michael sighed, put on reading glasses, and turned on his computer. A few keystrokes later, the MPEG video appeared. "What is this?" he asked. "Film of the last minutes of Aaron Peters' life," I said. "He had a GoPro Hero mounted in a fireproof housing on his dashboard. He must have hooked it up to a speedometer somehow, because, well, you'll see." The chief clicked on the video, blew it up to full screen. The camera gave us a view from the center of the dash, looking over the sleek hood and down along the headlight beams of the Maserati. In the lower right corner of the video, there was a digital speedometer. Lower left, a timer set to 0. "Here we go, epic run," said Aaron Peters off camera as he left Beach Drive for Rock Creek Parkway. The timer started running as the engine roared, and the Maserati accelerated from 30 to 75 in under 4 seconds. Peters laughed and then said, "Son of a—" The sounds of downshifting and brake squealing filled the chief's office. "Watch for it, Chief," Sampson said. Coming out of a backward S-curve, a single headlamp cut the pavement beside the Maserati. "Motorcycle?" Michael said. "What the— Hey, asshole!" Aaron Peters said. The headlights slashed again to the right, and you could hear the powerful whine of the motorcycle over the Maserati's engine. But then Peters began cutting back and forth, trying to keep the motorcyclist from passing. He braked poorly in the next curve and tried to accelerate. "Catch me if you can," Aaron Peters said, and his speed climbed to 90. It didn't seem to matter. The single headlight swung, and the motorcycle's engine sounded almost as loud as the Maserati's before 2 shots rang out. The sports car went out of control, smacked a guardrail, and did a whip-fast 360-degree skid that almost lit up the escaping motorcyclist for a split second before the car vaulted into the woods, hit the trees, and exploded into flames. "Jesus," Michael said. "The guy shot from a motorcycle as he was going 90? "Exactly our reaction," I said. "Now call up the pictures I sent you." A minute later, the screen split into 2 photographs. One showed the wounds on COD Tom McGrath's as photographed during his autopsy earlier in the day. The other picture was a close-up of Peters's 2 head wounds. "Okay," Michael said. "In both cases, the shooting was extraordinary," I said, "and in both cases, every bullet fired was a .45, perhaps from a Remington model 1911. Chiefs Michael squinted one eye. "You think it's the same shooter?" "We have 2 slugs from Peters's Kevlar helmet. We should have solid comparisons to the bullets that killed McGrath, but in the meantime, we have to consider the possibility of one shooter. And I thought you should know." The chief thought a moment, said, "I don't want any of this getting out until we've got a confirm or no confirm on the ballistics. Are we clear?" "We are," Sampson said, and I nodded. "Any connection between Peters and McGrath?" the chief asked. "Nothing yet," Sampson said. "Keep me posted." "Every few hours, sir," I said. When we turned to leave, Michael said, "Alex, could I have a word with you?" I glanced at Sampson, said, "Sure." When the door closed behind my partner, Michael said, "I need a chief of detectives. Who are you considering?" "You." "Me? Who better?" I felt all sorts of conflicting emotions roil through me. "Well," Michael said. "I'm flattered, Chief," I said, "and humbled that you think highly enough of me to offer me the job. But I need some time to think, to talk to Bree and my family. You'd have more regular hours, be able to see them more consistently, if that matters to you." "It does, but I still am going to need some time to take all the time in the world. Just give me an answer by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning." Chapter 17. Nana Mama was in rare form that night. She'd seen Rachel Ray make chicken provençal and decided to make it herself, doctoring the dish a bit by adding a little of this and a little of that until it was the kind of meal where you fought for seconds. "Good, isn't it?" I said. "I'll say," Ali said. "More, please," Janny said. "Is that cumin?" Bree asked, smacking her lips. "And a touch of curry powder," Nana Mama said. "That and the way the onions and the chicken skin get so crispy. I'd pay for a meal like this." "Nana," Ali said, "did you check the lottery?" Nana Mama had been playing numbers since I was a little kid. It was one of her few vices. Every week since I'd moved into her home all those years ago, she'd played a number. "Already looked," I said. "No one won Powerball. It'll be up over 50 million the next draw." "No, Dad," Ali said. "The charter school lottery." My grandmother said, "Ali wants to go to Washington Latin, and I want him to go. He'll be challenged academically in a charter, just as Janny had been." "I should get in, right, Dad?" Ali said. "I scored 96% in math." "In the 96th percentile in math," Nana Mama corrected him. "And 91% tile in reading," Ali said. "That will get you at least one more number in the lottery. 2 more, Nana said. He'll have a good chance. Ollie grinned down the table at me. He was such an affable brainiac, interested in so many subjects, it was sometimes hard to believe he was only 7. I'm getting in if I have to go down the chimney, he said. Always better to go in the front door, Bree said. She was up clearing dishes. I joined her, and we cleaned the kitchen to a high gloss that pleased Nana Mama enough for her to go out to watch NCIS, her latest favorite television show. Bree looked ready to join her, but I said, "Take a walk in the rain with me?" Bree smiled. "Sure." The air was hot and saturated with the light rain that had begun falling. It felt good to walk in it, loosened up my legs a little after I'd eaten so much. What did Michelle Bowie have to say? Nothing that pins the murders on Le, but she gave us enough promising leads to make it worthwhile, Bree said. She says he does have a Remington 1911 in a .45 caliber. Several, evidently. And he had mentioned Tommy McGrath numerous times in the past few months. And always in anger. Le told Michelle that Tommy was persecuting him. It's amazing how they squeal when someone's getting close. I know, I said. Listen, Michael's offered me chief of detectives. Bree stopped and beamed at me. Really? Oh my God, Alex, this is big. I know. You should do it. You deserve it. And I think you'd be great at it. Kind of like Tommy was. A mentor, an ally for every detective in Metro. We started walking again. I've thought of that. It's appealing on that level. You'd also have more regular hours for the first time and longer than you've known me, Bree said. Janny's gonna be a sophomore. She won't be home forever. I know, I said. And I'd get to see all of her races and attend science fairs with Ollie. It's really tempting. Bree stopped again. There were raindrops on her cheeks that looked like tears. I brushed them away. I hear a but coming, she said. There's always a but coming. And yours is? Right here, I said, patting my rump. You're avoiding the issue, she said. I am. Let's go back. Not before you kiss me, she said. Excuse me? You're kind of sexy in the rain. That so? Oh yeah, she said, and she got up on her tiptoes, put her arms around my neck, and kissed me long and deep. Wow, I said. I'm going to have to walk in the rain more often. She grinned and started strolling away coyly. Can you imagine me in a steamy, hot rainforest, Chief Cross? Vividly, I said, and we both laughed our way back to the house. I went upstairs to our bedroom and punched in the number for my recently found long-lost father. He answered on the second ring. Haven't heard from you in a bit, Alex, my dad said. You either, Dad. Retirement got you busy? Picking up more work than I can handle with the Palm Beach County prosecutors, he said, sounding as if he couldn't believe it. Why does that surprise you? I said. They may have thrown you out of sheriff's homicide, but they're not going to waste talent. I'm still pinching myself I'm not in prison. You paid your dues. You became a good man, Jason Cross, or Peter Drummond, or whatever it is you're calling yourself these days. Pete's fine, he said. End of that. What's up with you and the family? I told him about the job offer. He listened and then said, What turns you on, son? Being a detective, I said. It's what I'm good at. Being an administrator, not so much. You can always delegate, he said. Stick to the stuff you'd enjoy about being COD and get rid of the rest of it. Negotiate it with your chief up front. Maybe, I said. I'll sleep on it. Sounds to me like you've already made your decision.